I don't want the guaranteed monster.
It's guaranteed magic, baby.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, babies. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And today, as it is so close to the election, we have decided that we are going to pull back from our normal silliness and frivolity and do a completely serious political special. Over the next 90 minutes, we will be discussing not just the issues, but the important context behind the issues that everyone will need to know when they go to the polls on November 5th. Saige, starting with you, which candidate do you think hates Mondays more?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to go with Kamala Harris. I think Kamala Harris hates Mondays more because I think she knows what day it is.
That's true. That's true. Which one makes a better lasagna?
That's tough. That's a tough thing. I'm going to go Tim Walz.
Tim Walz does make a great lasagna.
Tim Walz is definitely going to make a better lasagna. Anthony didn't tell me he was doing this.
Doing what? I thought you were prepared to talk about political issues.
Look, I'm always there.
Could you for once just take politics seriously?
Look, that's what I get that feedback a lot. I get the feedback a lot that I'm not political enough online.
Yeah, if you could just for once, please, Saige, take this seriously. Think about the issues. Life isn't just fun and games, okay? You may not. No, you may not.
There you go. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, hey, we got a new set. We have a table.
It looks great.
Look at that. We have plant. We have life.
I got a picture. I got texted a picture last night that was just like, I may have gotten a little manic.
Yeah. I may have gotten a little carried away here, but I was having a good time. I made this table.
Whoa. What's crazy? She made it out of cucumber. Like that guy on TikTok in his hat.
Hey, you know what?
Do you get that guy?
No, I get the cucumber guy that eats cucumbers. What are you talking about?
I get a guy on TikTok who makes hats out of dried cucumber.
I've never seen that in my life.
And is selling a book called How to Make Hats Out of Cucumber, out of dried cucumber.
Oh, it's literally just hats, not how to make like anything out of a dried.
It's just a hat, but it's a big top hat.
And there's a book on it.
As far as he says.
Huh. No.
Made this table.
Yeah.
Like a top hat made of dried cucumber.
There's the cucumber guy. Everybody knows who the cucumber guy is on TikTok.
I don't.
You have a different cucumber guy.
I have a different cucumber guy.
You're in a different timeline.
What is your cucumber guy? What does he do?
Chip, 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 chip. You know?
Just chops cucumber?
No, Alex, you know what I'm talking about? Good morning, Alex.
Hello, good morning. Are you talking about the guy who makes like the cucumber mixes, like with the sauces and stuff? So he has like a really nice slicer. Yeah. And then he does like different
Is this the person that the filter is based on? Is this why the filter is so popular?
What filter?
There's a TikTok.
Like the swipey filter?
There's a TikTok slicing cucumber filter.
Oh, no. No, it's not really about his slicing. He just has a nice tool for it. It is about like making delicious cucumber recipes. He starts his videos every time and goes, sometimes you just need to eat a whole cucumber, and then chops a whole cucumber, and then there's like soy sauce in it, I think, and makes different mixes. And hey, pretty good.
Can you believe this only cost me $30?
I can.
That's quality.
Worth it.
This is a quality garf. Cucumber hat guy is the only cucumber guy I know. We've got two different TikToks going on.
We have two very different ones.
Well, let me tell you something. Shut up about cucumbers, because it's a show and we have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
New York Comic Con is, of course, happening, and a lot of people are discussing the things there. There's one picture of Herbie the robot.
Yeah.
One picture hidden in the corner of the Marvel booth.
Yeah.
And everybody's talking about it.
And that's the news from New York Comic Con.
That's it.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, that's it. We've also got the Xbox partner preview announcements. We're going to talk about buying a $300 Nintendo 64. And bad things are happening on the set of God of War.
I have a little news for everybody. This morning, the reason I was running late for our show, I got an email. The Barbie phone finally went on sale. I bought it.
Hey!
It's happening. It's happening. For those who were not here for that episode, hey, you should hang out with us more often. And also, they made a Barbie dumb phone. And it says, "Hi, Barbie," when you turn it on. And it's just like a little flip phone. And I wanted to get one so that I could maybe try and stave off the endless dread of having my phone on me.
Mhm.
I'm not going to be swapping out my phone for entirely. The idea is to be able to have both active and just grab one when I'm going a place I don't need all the other things.
Sure.
And so it's ordered. It's on its way.
One Barbie phone.
I had to. It was like, I don't want it to sell out. I had to jump in. I got the email as soon as I woke up. That
I
was
felt the
first thing
same
did
way
today.
about this Garfield onesie.
Yeah, you don't want it to sell out.
No.
You had to jump on it.
Had to.
Yeah.
Do you know, I showed up and people were fighting over this thing.
Yeah.
Just punching each other in the face. I saw people punching each other in the face.
There was plenty of them. It was just for fun. That seems right. And look, our mugs are even back. We really kind of got our shit together.
Well, one of our
today.
mugs never left.
Well,
One of our
we
mugs
weren't
was
using it on the show.
I wasn't
so
using-
it was gone to them.
I wasn't using it on the show because I didn't want to bring attention to your cracked and destroyed mug.
They have no object permanence. To them, it was gone. If it's not on the stream, it doesn't exist. Look, Alex just disappeared.
Yeah. It's a shame. I liked Alex. Anyway, moving on to the news.
I
All
like
right.
you too.
What?
Most
Who
of
was
the
that?
Alex is back. All right, moving on. We got some things to talk about. You want to start with, what do you want to start with? You want to start with New York Comic Con, or you want to start with something silly and dumb? You have two choices.
Boy.
Those are the only two choices.
I mean, let's jump into New York Comic Con. There's a lot of New York Comic Con.
Let's do it. Also, hey, I'm trying to remember to do this at the beginning of videos. If you're watching on YouTube later, do like this video. That'd be cool of you.
Be so
Thank you
cool
very
of you.
much. A lot of people don't make it all the way to the end. So, even if you don't, still like it.
Just like it.
Just like it. Just do it.
Let's talk about everything that was announced at New York Comic Con.
So far, I feel like what we have is not really announcements from New York Comic Con as much as like teases and images of things,
Yeah, I mean, we have a few things. We got an announcement of we got a trailer for Dune Prophecy as well as a release date.
Yes.
If you're a Dune fan, if you're trying to be Shai Hulud, if you want to know if people would love you if you were a worm or your son was a worm, literally a worm.
Yeah.
We got a trailer for Dune Prophecy. And hey, looks great.
I feel like we're probably not going to play it because HBO would.
No. HBO, Warner, Discovery,
Yeah.
they're the worst.
Yeah.
Hey, can I get on my brand new single shot on this brand new set?
Mhm.
Hey, Discovery, Warner Brothers, you're the fucking worst. Stop being the worst to us. And that's coming from Garfield, the beloved cat. Hi, it's me, everyone's favorite cartoon cat, Garfield. I love lasagna and I fucking hate David Zaslav. Meow.
Clip it, folks. Clip it. Send it to Zaslav directly. If he has a public mailing address, I'm not saying to find his personal address. I want to be very clear about that. If he has like a P.O. box for fan mail, please do put it on a flash drive and mail it.
David Zaslav getting all the fan mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of fan mail,
Yeah.
mostly from animators.
Mhm.
We got at the Marvel booth. They were showing a bunch of stuff. They had a lot of comic announcements.
Yeah.
They were talking about how next year in the Marvel universe, Doom is becoming Emperor. They're doing Emperor Doom,
Yeah.
which is like the big cross comic book thing.
Awesome.
But the biggest news as far as I'm concerned, is that little Herbie the robot
Yeah.
from Fantastic Four.
Do you have the image? It's
I
not
have it
here.
up on my screen
Hell
here.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of articles that mention it but don't show it.
Right?
And here's why.
What's that about?
It's because Herbie the robot has been hidden from us.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
He's been hidden from us in a gigantic Marvel logo that's just on the Marvel booth.
But like thriving there, has his own side of the letter. You know what I mean?
I'd like to discuss how they are not de-sillying Herbie at all.
No.
I like that I like everything I'm seeing from the Fantastic Four movie so far.
Oh, I love it.
It looks goofy as hell.
We were going over little guys recently. That's a certified little guy.
We didn't have a picture of him.
No, of course
we
not.
couldn't put him on the list.
But now
Herbie.
Certified little guy.
Yes.
And I'm so glad they kept his little guy identity.
S-level little guy, S tier. And of course, we don't know anything about anything, but we will say this. Herbie the Robot should absolutely be voiced by Griffin Newman. We all know that. We all know that. Griffin for Herbie. Hashtag Griffin for Herbie.
I'm in.
Friend of the show, Griffin Newman, has been subtly campaigning to be Herbie the Robot.
I was already in. You already had me. I was in. Didn't have to worry about it. Anthony, with Marvel, have you been watching Agatha?
I have.
We haven't talked about Agatha at all. I brought it up on the Patreon when Alex and I did an update, and somebody mentioned like, hey, I hadn't heard you guys' thoughts on Agatha.
Love it.
While we're going through it. Yeah, how you feeling?
I love it. I totally 100% love it. I've been talking to a lot of the show team on the official Marvel podcast.
Yeah.
New episode of the official Marvel podcast went up on Wednesday. Go listen to that. Yeah, I've been really loving it, and I've been shocked how much they have been able to stick to the comic while making things feel fresh.
Yeah.
Particularly with like the least good kept secret.
Yeah.
On the internet.
Exactly.
Which like, God, are we just gonna say it? Marvel literally said it officially the morning of.
Yeah.
Like
right?
the morning of, they posted a picture of it and they were like, here's this character and his name.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to say Billy.
Yeah. Billy is of course Billy Maximoff, who is Billy Kaplan, who is Wiccan.
Yeah.
One of Wanda's imaginary, not imaginary children.
Which people had that theory since the first episode, right?
Yes.
Like episode 1, people were like, I think that's Wiccan. I think that's Wiccan. I'm pretty sure that's Wiccan. And it's been leaned into. Something that was really funny was them playing a Billie Eilish song.
Mm-hmm.
That just made me giggle. It had lots of other reasons that they were playing that song, but it made me go, because it's Billy.
Yeah.
It's great.
I was shocked in the most current episode when they kept the origin of Billy pretty comic accurate. Yeah. Which I thought was going to be a little too complicated and weird in a TV show with the car crash and all that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we're just doing it. We're doing body swapping, name swapping.
Yeah, don't get too into spoilers.
Yeah,
Careful.
but like we're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's
great.
And it's dope.
Super fun. All right, that's it. We're going to keep going on New York Comic Con, but I did remember that somebody had specifically said so. And hey, you can always make requests on our Patreon. And I'm not saying that they get priority over anyone else's.
No.
But
listen, all BBs are special.
But anyways.
Yeah, there was some preview of some Dragon Ball video games. Got a new Dragon Ball like Kakarot DLC. We got Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. We got,
we're still very early in New York Comic Con, and I think there's still a lot more to come from it because right now it's like how many Funko Pops are being released.
Yeah, but I was actually surprised with how much of this early stuff is like anime based. Like they talked about like the Shonen Jump stuff.
Yeah.
And like Naruto and.
I don't usually associate New York Comic Con with much on that side.
No, because like New York also has their own anime con.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very like, but it's cool. I think they're kind of getting in there early.
Yeah.
Getting in there early before like the big weekend announcements. Because if it's like, hey, do you want to hear about anime or Funko Pops?
Mm-hmm.
People will be like, oh, I would like to hear about anime.
Sure. Yeah. And then they just keep giving you the Funko Pops anyways.
Yeah.
Somebody just said there's a Carlock Funko Pop, and that's so funny. That's...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did they do an Asterion? That's all I wanted to know. I don't want it. I just want to know if it is. Because it'd be weird for them to do Carlock and not Asterion. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I can't believe they got me with this. They did. Of course they did.
They got you.
They got me.
They got
me to look up a Funko Pop. I hate to say it.
Now we need to know what it looks like. What does it look like?
It looks like Asterion.
But
you want me to show it?
Yeah, we got to show it now. Otherwise, it's Chekhov's Funko Pop. I have an Anton Chekhov Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Not the variant that they that they gave away at Emerald City.
Yeah.
But the original one.
There he is.
There he is. Where's the Carlock? I thought that's what we were talking about.
No, I was talking about looking up the Asterion one.
Oh.
They said there is Karlach. And I'm like, that's cool, but is there Asterion?
Oh.
That was the big question for me.
Okay.
We can look at the Karlach one.
Sure. Bet it looks like a Funko Pop.
It looks like Karlach and a Funko Pop. If you picture Karlach shaped like a Funko Pop, you've nailed it. But here it is.
Oh, it's one of the ones that they put a little more effort into.
Yeah. Has a lot of detail to it. Cute. Fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Listen, if you enjoy a Funko'd Pop, congratulations to you and your family on all the Funko Pop news.
Yeah. And yes, Chekhov, not Schrodinger. That was correct.
Yeah.
That was the correct one, actually.
Yeah, Schrodinger would be if the Funko Pop both existed and didn't exist, or was dead or not dead.
Yes.
Which Funko Pops are always dead. Look into their eyes.
Yeah. Alex, I support your love for Karlach. Our It's Fine isn't to Karlach. Karlach's fantastic. Our It's Fine is to the Funko Pop.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was a little worried for a second because I do find the tiny little teddy bear cute, but I would never purchase a Funko Pop. And I'll say that on the internet.
They should make a Funko Pop that's just a hole in a wall for that guy.
It's a hand in a wall, thank you.
Yeah, I know. I watched it go.
A hole in a wall sounds really
I watched it go right back into the hole.
Yeah, but do you see how that sounds?
Yeah, I do. You want to talk about the Xbox partner preview?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right, the Xbox partner preview happened and ooh, baby.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby.
There's a bit of Anthony news in there.
The Remedy fans are eating good.
Yeah.
We're eating good, baby. We finally got a look at that multiplayer shooter that Remedy's been working on for the last few years, where we were like, I don't understand. Why is Remedy doing this? What is happening? They keep saying it's a standard shooter.
And how do you feel about it?
It's cool. It's called FBC Firebreak.
Okay, can I just say?
Yeah.
Horrible name.
Yeah, it doesn't say, well, I think
I can't remember it for the life of me.
Here's why I think they're doing it. I think, so FBC obviously stands for the Federal Bureau of Control.
Sure, if you know that.
But if you don't know that, they'd like you to just download a shooter, right? They're trying to hit a mainstream shooter audience at the same time they're trying to hit, because the Control audience and a mainstream squad shooter audience, ooh, that's not the crossover. You know what I mean? So they're hoping that if they can market it sort of like a regular shooter, but put in weirdy things, that they can get everybody.
Yeah, if you know the name, but like if you can remember the name of it to look it up in the App Store, you know?
Sure. Well, I don't think you're going to need to remember it too much. I have a feeling Microsoft is going to put this one pretty front and center.
Rich Baddick Game said L4D, COD, CSGO, etc. Those are the abbreviated versions of it. This is the whole name.
Yeah.
It's not called COD or L4D. It's called Call of Duty or Left 4 Dead.
Right.
And players, because they've developed a shorthand with it and they love these games and know these games, they abbreviate it.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's not called Control Firebreak.
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody calls it the Federal Bureau of Control because that's not the name of the game.
Right.
So FBC Firebreak.
FBC? Yeah. I'm never going to remember that for the rest of my life.
There's a garden gnome. Did you see it? Did you see the garden gnome?
I did see the garden gnome. And to the extent where somebody's going to be like, oh, you know that FBC Firebreak game? And I'm going to go, I have no idea what you're talking about because I'm not going to remember it's this game.
It looked cool.
It does.
It looked cool.
It looks cool. I just want to change the name.
You're going to fight all the weird nasties. Yeah. You're going to fight the hiss. You're going to fight hordes of things. There are Post-it notes everywhere. Yeah. It looks very Remedy.
It looks great, genuinely.
But it does look to play like kind of a standard squad-based shooter with a Remedy skin, which, you know, I can dig it.
Yeah.
I can dig it. The idea that like the bombs and like the strange like ultimate weapons that you find are artifacts. Mm-hmm. You know, like the garden gnome is obviously like an object of power.
Yeah.
So you're going to find these random objects of power that are like, you know, that are infested with spirits and otherworldly energies instead of like throwing a bomb.
Awesome.
I like that.
I think that's super neat.
It's going to be a 3-player co-op shooter. Mm-hmm. It's set in the FBC. The FBC is what we're calling it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's set in the FBC as deadly otherworldly forces lay siege to the headquarters like they always do.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's ever been a day in the FBC that there hasn't been a strange otherworldly force trying to take them over. If there's ever been a single, like a normal casual Friday in the Federal Bureau of Control. I doubt it. I doubt it.
Sublime is from the FBC.
I caught what you were doing.
People know it.
People know it.
See how you caught it?
They know
you caught it?
They know it just as much as Nirvana, is what I hear. Now.
Don't take it out of context. You dare.
Now, this was not the big Alan Wake news. This was not the big Remedy news.
No, it wasn't.
This is not the big Control news.
Well,
we are talking about Alan Wake, The Lake House.
Yeah, DLC.
This is the DLC where you will be playing you will not be playing as Saga Anderson. You'll be playing as Janina Gavankar's character.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Janina Gavankar, as the Federal Bureau of Control is trying to figure out what's going on with Alan Wake and the Lake House and all of the weird Alan Wake shit that's going on. The Remedy connected universe is all hooking up together, baby. It's crossing over. It's coming to a head. It's all one big story now. Whenever I see Janina in a video game, I just think it's Iden Versio.
Yeah.
I just think that is a TIE fighter pilot.
That's a pretty good thing to be known as.
Yeah. But it's so funny because it's like, I don't look at Janina Gavankar as an actor.
Sure.
And go, that's a TIE fighter pilot.
Only her disembodied voice.
It's the fact that she is digitized again. They scanned her the same way they did for Iden Versio. She did, motion capture and performance capture. And so it's like when I see Sam Witwer, I don't think of Star Killer, but when I see Deacon in Days Gone, I'm like, Star Killer grew a beard.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. No, I agree. The digital version of Sam Witwer will always be Star Killer.
Yeah, it's a different person. But this is very cool. I'm excited. Obviously, the Federal Bureau of Control and Alan Wake crossed over very heavily in Alan Wake 2, and we kind of got an idea of what that all means. And there were hints that Alan Wake was going to cross over into the Control universe in Control.
Yeah.
But it's all kind of coming to a head, and it's all
really happening.
Telling one big story, and I love it.
All right. Continuing in other things in the Xbox Partner Showcase, I went through a wave of emotions because I thought it was new Sea of Thieves things. And they got me again. Like a Dragon got me again. Like a Dragon keeps making other games I love to try and convince me to play Like a Dragon. And it hasn't happened yet.
Dude, you would love Like a Dragon.
I know. And it just hasn't happened yet. I'm too overwhelmed. There's so much Like a Dragon.
Yes.
We're constantly talking about Like a Dragon releases. And I'm like, how do you even...
But here's the thing.
How do you even?
This is why it's no longer Yakuza. This is why it's Like a Dragon now. Is they're trying to tell you, don't worry, Saige. If you do not want to, simply do not play the old Yakuza games.
Yeah.
You can start with Like a Dragon Ichiban, and you can just play those two. You can play this one.
I think I only want to play this one. There's even so much of this one. How many different games inside of this one game have we talked about?
A lot.
Right?
There's an Animal Crossing.
There's like a Pokemon.
There is a Pokemon. There is a Crazy Taxi. There's a bit of a Tony Hawk in there. There's a lot.
Now there's a Sea of Thieves.
Now there's a Sea of Thieves in there. I love it.
Genuinely, like I don't know what it was, but like the initial thumbnail for this also had a kind of similar look to Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
This doesn't. Like this definitely has its own style for sure.
Dude, and you don't even understand why it's so funny that Majima is like running this pirate ship.
I don't know why that's funny at all.
It's just great.
It's great. I do like the combat looks really fun because in Sea of Thieves, there is no like pirate combat like that. You're just like, I swing sword poorly.
Yes.
And that's about it. Or at least maybe that's just how I play.
I think it's absolutely bonkers that Ubisoft and Rare and all of these different companies have been trying to just make good pirate game for a long time.
Yeah.
And they all get little bits of it correct.
Yeah.
but nobody's done the pirate game where you are controlling the ship and you are doing the ship-to-ship battles, right? Honestly, the best game to do that was the Assassin's Creed
Black Flag.
Yes. Where it was a mini game. It wasn't even the main game.
Yeah. I'm a big Sea of Thieves fan, so I think the ship controls and ship battle are fantastic in Sea of Thieves. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
I'd say the hand-to-hand combat, miserable. Hate it. Absolutely hate to fight in Sea of Thieves.
There's nothing worse than like pulling up on an island, like slashing at a skeleton in Sea of Thieves.
No, slashing at a real person in Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, that's worse.
A skeleton, okay.
Yeah.
Another player, fuck.
It feels like you're playing.
Ruins my day.
It feels like you're playing like an old school Quake 2 mod that's just hand to hand. It feels like you're playing GoldenEye slaps only.
Right.
When you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a GoldenEye slaps only feeling when you're playing hand-to-hand combat in Sea of Thieves.
It is. And it's not a good time. And before anybody comes for me, I know that they have made the like PvE only modes or like private servers that you can play in. That's fine. I'm not against using my sword. I just want it to be less clunky to use my sword and a better experience.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, I would enjoy the mode if it felt good.
Yeah.
Do not feel good.
Though I do, in general, prefer PvE to PvP.
Yeah, same. I cannot wait for this new Like a Dragon.
It looks great.
The other thing we got was already new Bloober team.
Yeah.
New Bloober team. Bloober team is riding the high of people not hating Silent Hill 2. Bloober team riding the wild wave of people saying, maybe I don't hate Bloober team.
That's all you can ask for. What more can you ask for?
What more can you ask for? Well, they're riding this wave of fine will, perfectly fine will, and announced their new game, Chronos: The New Dawn.
Yeah.
Chronos: The New Dawn. We got a trailer for it. There's an old lady playing chess.
Yeah.
With a monster hunter.
Yeah, it's got a like sci-fi horror thing to it.
Shocking from Bloober team.
Yeah.
A shocking swerve from the Bluebird team.
How did you feel about this trailer?
I felt fine about it. We don't see much game.
We see a little
a little game, but like, this is mostly a feeling trailer. This is a mood piece, as they say.
They go back and forth between the old lady playing chess and then this person in this kind of like futuristic-y spacesuit. Stuff is floating. There's like an anti-gravity situation going on.
But is the chess game
Spooky
metaphor?
Monsters.
Is the chess game metaphor, Saige?
I instead assume that all games play like the Dark Pictures anthology, and that'll be who we check in with every time we kill somebody.
I would love that, actually.
I would like to come back to the chess room and have her be like, damn.
Action
really
set piece, back to grandma.
Yeah.
Action set piece, back to grandma. I'm excited for this. Here's the thing. I've been saying it.
That's a trailer.
I've been saying it. I don't hate Bloober team. Yeah. I thought the Bloober team hate was a little exaggerated.
I agree.
I haven't.
We have so many people making so much worse games.
Yeah, I don't think, their previous, like the medium, I don't think goes down in the pantheon of great horror games or anything.
Sure,
but in the pantheon of solid launch titles?
Fine.
Yeah.
It was a perfectly fine horror game. It was not like, I wouldn't even put it in the category of bad. It was just not groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's fine. And people are like, their puzzle design, their gameplay is not as...
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. I personally always saw them as, here's a team, and we've said this on the show before. I saw this as a team that is doing as much as they can with a small amount of money and a small amount of time.
Yeah.
And they needed a big breakout thing
Yeah.
to show people what they could do. And I think Silent Hill 2 was like that.
Yeah.
I think Silent Hill 2 was that thing for them.
Yeah.
And now Chronos, hopefully they're able to follow up on it, and or they'll prove me wrong and everybody was right to hate them forever. I don't know.
I found the Chronos trailer to be
I'm just one cat.
There you go. I found Chronos to look a little generic to me. It isn't something that super sticks out to me. Sci-fi horror in video games isn't my number one genre personally. But just because I do feel like a lot of sci-fi horror looks the same, I'm really sorry. It's a lot of wear space suit, shoot monster, floaty space.
How many grandma chess though?
Grandma chess, unique, but probably not part of the gameplay loop.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Maybe you play as grandma chess.
Yeah.
And everything we saw of Spaceman was Spaceman just thinking about it.
Yeah, those are just cutscenes.
Those are cutscenes, but you actually play as
a grandma
chess.
Yeah. You just have to play chess.
Yeah, it's grandma chess.
I'm in. I'm back in.
How about that?
How about that? I want it to be like, there is essentially a like checkersy like game in Disney Dreamlight Valley now that you have to like run around and get people to play with you.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be like that. I want it to be like, yeah, I would love to move on, but unfortunately I have to sit down and play chess right now before I can get back to the other flashback and continue playing.
Sorry. I have to do it.
That'd be hilarious. Be great. Another trailer that caught my eye definitely was for Mouse PI for Hire.
Yep, we've been waiting on this one.
Yeah.
The more I see of Mouse PI for Hire, the more I love it. By the way, Chrono's coming next year some point. We don't know when. Mouse also coming some point next year. We don't know when. But Mouse is great. If you were a fan of Inkwell, if you're a fan of Cuphead, if you're a fan of boomer shooters, baby, wait until you see a mouse
as a PI.
Can you believe it? He's just a little guy PI.
I think this is fun. Now, this does sit on the edge of that. Are you taking something that is like a beloved childhood franchise? I don't think so. I think it's a whole art style. I don't think it's look, Mickey Mouse is killing people.
No.
Which I was afraid it was going to be when it was announced initially.
Yes.
I think it really does just hit in that art style, and that's fun.
Their announcement, if I remember correctly, intersected, unfortunately, with the public domain of Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
And so we were all like, oh no.
Oh, it's a
Is this what they're
yeah.
doing? But this actually, it's just rubber hose animation style is just a classic style of American animation.
I think it looks sick as hell. I love the differentiation between the characters and the environment. I love the like way that it makes them pop and stand out. I think it is, I don't know. There's something about this that is like, yes, I just want to stare at it. It's beautiful. I really, really like this.
Yeah, it's got
for it.
It's got some of that bendy, like people are saying that game.
Yeah, Bendy and the Ink Machine. It's definitely got Cuphead.
I think it looks way more polished than. Well, nothing looks more polished than Cuphead, but I think it looks way more polished than other stuff like Bendy and things like that. Whereas I thought Bendy nailed the look pretty well. This really gets it right.
I think so too.
Through a mix of just, I think, just good design, post-processing, things like that. But it's really fun because it takes the idea of in the old shooters when they had to mix 2D and 3D, how you would like move around a monster and the monster was like a billboard.
Yeah.
You remember? And it was just like, it would twist the billboard until you got to a certain thing and then it would flip the sprite to be like a sideways walking sprite.
Yeah.
It really like plays on that in a fun way.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good. In a game that is 100% for Saige's. Saige cannot wait to play this game. Gonna be her favorite game. Subnautica 2 got a teaser trailer. There's nothing Saige loves more than the ocean and being in the ocean and seeing the creatures of the ocean.
I'm afraid of the ocean.
Look at this, Saige. It's for you. They did it.
So far, fine. Getting less fine by the second.
Yeah. We don't like seeing.
I'm less fine.
We don't like seeing red in the helmet.
No, I'm immediately unfine. I've lost all my fine.
Now me.
No.
No, that's probably all right.
Dude, no.
There's that red. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I freaking love Subnautica. I love undersea games. I love swimming around in the ocean and looking at the beautiful, magical alien life. And just seeing, look, saved by friend, everything fine. Everything's probably fine.
To me, saying I'm afraid of the ocean is the same thing as being like, I'm afraid of hanging out alone in a room with a serial killer. Like, yeah, obviously you should be. It's dangerous.
Oh, the ocean wants to kill you.
Yeah.
The ocean wants to kill you the same way space wants to kill you.
Sure.
People have always asked me, they're like, would you ever go to space? And I'm like, no, for what? What am I going to do? What am I going to do in space? Die?
Yeah.
That's right now, all there is for me to do in space is die. Well, that's proven.
I think people are asking for like, not right now, right?
No,
like
but
if there was things.
No, even if there's a colony.
Okay. You wouldn't do it.
Hey, have you ever heard the stories of the first settlers of anywhere?
Or Darth Plagueis the Wise?
It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. No, if you are colonizing Mars, right?
Yeah.
At the time, there was a big thing for colonizing Mars.
Yeah, you know how fondly history remembers colonizers.
So colonizing Mars, back when that was a big deal, I was hosting a science show, and they were doing a very public thing where you could apply to colonize Mars.
Yeah.
It was like the Mars One or whatever. It was a scam. It was a fucking scam.
Yeah.
But we applied because we're like, this is a fun thing for the show.
Yeah.
And I remember my partner at the time, when I told her I applied for the show as a joke, she started crying.
Oh, no.
Because she was like, if they choose you, you're going to go. If they choose you, you would leave. And I was like, hey,
Aww.
I absolutely would not, because the first people to get to Mars, they made a documentary about that. It was Matt Damon.
A documentary. Starring Matt Damon.
It was a documentary starring Matt Damon called The Martian. There's nothing to do on even the dirt on Mars wants to kill you.
Yeah.
If there's too much dirt in anything, dead. And you've seen how bad I am at dusting.
Yeah.
If there's any dirt in anything, we die?
Yeah.
I'm not going to space.
That's kind of everything with humans. Too much air, not enough air, you die.
We're so delicate. We're
Too
so
much
fragile.
water, not enough water, you die.
But here's the thing about the ocean.
You die.
You do die, but I think the ocean is worth it, because ocean, look at all the magical little guys down there.
I feel the exact opposite. I feel like, sure, space, you die, but it's worth it. The ocean, I'm like, for fucking what, dude? Absolutely not.
For fishies, for magical coral.
For monsters? Okay.
For adorable, not all fishy monsters, some fishy very cute.
Yeah, okay. But with the chance of monsters, with the dice roll of monsters, and not like maybe there's monsters. There's definitely monsters. It's just, do you encounter one? We can say 100% certain there are monsters in the ocean.
Yes.
Actual real fucking monsters.
Real monsters, the Nicktoon.
Like if you think of monsters, the closest thing that we have to like the platonic ideal of a monster is definitely 100% in the ocean.
Yeah. It's aliens.
We know it's there.
It's aliens.
We know it's there.
They is aliens and they's real. Whereas like, we're just imagining all these other aliens.
I don't want the guaranteed monster.
It's guaranteed magic, baby. When I was a kid, I used to imagine, I used to be the kid where like parents would get worried at pools and at the beach because I was underwater so much.
Yeah.
And they were like, is he drowning or is it? No, I just loved spending as much time as I could underwater. I used to imagine like having gills.
Chill.
I used to just be like, maybe one day I'll figure out the secret.
Yeah.
And I'll just be able to stay down here and I'll be able to swim around and see everything in the ocean.
Yeah.
And then when episode 1 came out and they had the rebreathers, the little infinite Jedi rebreathers, I was like, what's it going to take?
Right.
What's it going to take? That seems simple.
I feel like it was a missed opportunity. You would have been one of the kids that loved playing mermaids.
I played some mermaids.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
You had kids to play mermaids with?
Yeah.
I did not want to play mermaids.
I've been thinking this week.
Go on.
As real human beings in the United States of America, real adult human beings have been saying that the government is creating hurricanes.
They have. They've been saying that.
They've been saying the government made hurricanes for politics. In addition to grinding my teeth at night.
Yeah.
I have also thought about this, and it brought back a memory, Saige.
Oh.
A core memory that I had forgotten.
Does this have to do with growing up in Florida?
No, this is pre-Florida.
Okay.
This is Long Island.
All right.
One of my neighbors got a pool. Okay?
Okay. Imagine that was the whole memory.
That was the memory.
I just remembered
there was a pool. No, one of my neighbors got a pool, and it wasn't a fancy pool. We didn't live in like a fancy neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was an above ground pool. One of those pools that like, it's like swimming in a water tower. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Or like a retention tank.
Yeah.
It's basically like a big round bucket. It's like an inflatable pool for children, but adult sized.
Yeah.
And you go up a ladder and you jump down into the pool and it's just like one, you know? And I remember overgrown bathtubs. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's basically like enough for an adult to stand in.
Okay.
You know, and it took all night for them to fill it up. It was great.
We had an above ground pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got into this pool, and I remember all of us kids getting together and thinking, wait, this is circle.
Uh-huh.
If we move fast enough in the same direction in
Whirlpool.
circle, we'll create a whirlpool.
Yeah.
We'll make a whirlpool out of this entire pool.
Yeah.
And we swam for like 5 minutes straight. We were like,
and then
all the same. And then we stopped and we went like this.
Yeah.
And the water kind of went.
Yeah.
And we were like, wait, did you feel it? Did you feel it? They say the government is creating hurricanes. Do you know what I mean? Like, this feels like the same thing to me.
Those children are who is coming up with these ideas, and they're getting traction. The problem is those kids are getting traction.
They're getting traction.
With their ideas.
I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
We were 5 years old.
Yeah.
We didn't know any better.
Well,
you couldn't put me in a pool now and say, swim as hard as you can. You'll make a current.
Yeah.
Because I understand science.
Sure.
And even if I don't understand science, I understand the amount of work things take.
Right. Marjorie Taylor Greene does have approximately the IQ of a 5-year-old.
God, let me tell you something. As a studio full of Jews, if we had a space laser, sorry, Colorado. We know there's a lot of great people in Colorado. I hear Colorado's beautiful.
Yeah.
My co-host for We Have Concerns, Jeff Canada, lives in Colorado with his beautiful wife and beautiful children. And I'm sorry, I would give them 5 minutes warning.
Wow.
5 minutes warning I would give them.
Imagine thinking we have all this secret power and we're doing nothing with it too. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
We have all this secret power, and I spent my last $30 on a Garfield onesie for a 5-second bit.
Yeah.
I'm eating ramen for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I had a space laser, baby, I'd carve my name in the moon.
Obviously.
Chairface Chippendale style.
You'd see it already. People are saying, what's wrong with Colorado?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, mostly.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is what's wrong with Colorado.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
And I'll say this too. Frisbee golf and pro hacky sack.
Yeah.
Not because I'm against them as games.
Yeah.
I'm against the people.
I agree.
I'm against the people.
Oh, yeah. No, if a man, specifically, we'll be honest, if a man is like, I love Frisbee golf, I love that for you, but I am leaving. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. And I don't want to yuck your yum on your hobby, but I also do not want to talk anymore. The odds are just simply no longer in my favor in this conversation of it being a pleasant time. There are exceptions, but I'm willing to play the odds, you know?
Moving on to some other games here. Congratulations to people who were waiting for the next anime-looking game based on a thing. That anime.
Yeah.
We got an action, maybe a turn-based RPG.
Who could say?
It's an exciting space adventure called Eden Zero. Congratulations to all animes. I'm an anime fan. I really am.
Yeah.
Never heard of this. I have heard of Fairy Tail and Rave Master, which is the creator of this manga's other stuff.
Yeah.
Never heard of this. Congratulations to anime. I'll say this. Anime games looking pretty convincingly anime these days.
Genuinely, yeah. I feel like there was like a tide that turned when we had the last My Hero Academia game that came out where I was like, that looks like My Hero Academia. Like, that looks like the show.
I think the biggest one was the Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Or maybe even back.
Fighter Z wasn't quite as anime as this.
No, but it looked like Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? It had
Fighter Z was fantastic.
It had a very specific Dragon Ball look.
Yeah.
And then maybe even back to Guilty Gear, like the first 3D Guilty Gear.
Yeah.
We got a surprise drop of Animal Well. If you haven't been able to play Animal Well because you're an Xbox person, play Animal Well. Animal Well is amazing. I'm an Xbox
person.
Animal Well is amazing.
I look forward to that. There was quite a few things that were just like coming to Xbox that have been around for a minute. Phasmophobia, oddly enough, is finally coming to Xbox.
Wild.
I just really would have been like, yeah, that's on Xbox. If you'd asked me, I'd have been like, yeah, it's on
I would have thought that had been on Xbox for 3 years.
Right?
It's dropping October 29th, which is a great time for Phasmophobia to drop.
It is.
I wonder, I wonder like if it's just they're just dropping it because it's like it's time to drop it on this platform.
Probably.
Like they're like I don't think they expect to get tons of sales on Xbox at this
I want
point.
it on Game Pass.
If
it's a Game Pass game.
If it's Game Pass, then it's like, okay, finally I'll play some Phasmophobia.
It should and it is a Game Pass game in its heart. You know what I mean?
They're squeezing the last juice out of Phasmophobia.
Wheel World. How about Wheel World?
Wheel World.
Previously Ghost Bike.
Made by friend of the show, Messhoff. Mark Essen's studio. You may remember Messhoff from Nidhogg.
Yeah. I'm sure there were a million good reasons to change it from Ghost Bike to Wheel World. I don't know if it's trademark. I don't know if it's just like a marketing and SEO thing. I don't know what it is. I'm sure there is a well-researched reason for it.
Yeah.
But I love Ghost Bike.
I liked Ghost Bike better.
Ghost Bike.
But it'll take me 3 days to start thinking of it as Wheel World, and then I'll be fine.
And I will say, looking at the actual game, Wheel World does suit it better.
Yes.
It really does. I don't think they're wrong at all.
I think if you call it Ghost Bike, I'm expecting
Spooky.
way more ghost.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm mostly seeing beautiful bike, and you have a ghost friend.
Bike and world are actually the stronger two things of this actual game.
Yes. The bike customization is great.
Yeah.
Listen, there is a particular demographic, age group of, let's just say it, white people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a particular white demographic that once a week imagines building a custom bicycle.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Like maybe one day I'll be one of those people who buys the shorts and the little hat.
You think?
I think there's a large group of those people. And I have a couple of them in my building.
Yeah.
And I used to, I lived in San Francisco and everybody is like biking. In New York, everybody's biking. So like when I see the bike guys in the elevator, I'm always like, I ask them about their bike because I know they've been waiting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They'd love to talk about their bike.
All they want to do is talk about their bike.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll just be like, oh, hey, like, that's cool. What do you, like, what kind of gear shift you got on there? Or like, oh, where are you going to ride today? How many miles you putting in? Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it. Wheel World looks like it's very much for them.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine, right? Having an interaction with somebody, okay? You've got your bike. It is genuinely just like a thing that you love to talk about, okay?
Yeah.
And you know it. But like, somebody's like, how many miles you riding today? Like, what gear shift you got on? And they leave the elevator like, hell yeah. Like, feeling really good from the conversation. And then they hear this. They love it. Oh, I asked them about their gear shift. They love it.
What do you got on there? Is that a Shimano?
That would be my 13th reason, bro.
Yeah, no.
That would be my 13th reason to hear somebody had humored me in an elevator to such an extent that after we're like, that guy loved to talk about his gear shift. Done. Out.
Couldn't be me bicycling.
That would be it.
Couldn't be me.
I actually, as somebody who does not see themselves ever becoming a bike bro, I would like a cute little bike with a basket to get around, but mine is very in a cottagecore way.
Yes.
I want it on in a Ghibli movie way.
Yeah.
I also love the look of this game and want to play it so bad.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
I'm very into this. I'm very excited. I would love to bike around a little.
Gorgeous looking game. It does seem to be a lot about the cycling and the customization of the bike, right? Figuring out your best parts of your bike and all that stuff. But also, Ghost's still there.
Yeah.
There is still mystery to solve.
Awesome. I'm so into it. It looks like a fun little town to navigate around in. I think that's great.
Can I tell you what? You remember Dagger used to love bikes.
You remember Dagger.
You remember Dagger.
Yeah, he's right there.
Everybody, you remember Dagger.
He's right there.
Dagger used to love bikes to the point where I think I told you the story. I knew that he loved bikes as a puppy because when people would ride by on bikes, he would sit and he would look at the bikes go by.
Cute.
And I was like, wait, do you like bikes?
Weird.
Yeah, super weird.
This guy. Oh, how many miles you putting in?
How many miles you putting in? Little, hey, puppy, how many miles you putting in?
Yeah, what kind of gear shifts on that bike?
He loved bikes. And then when I got the Vespa, he loved being on the Vespa and he always had like a little carrier and stuff. Since we got into the accident, he won't go near a bike.
Shocking.
He hates them now. And I feel so awful because it was such a love for him. You know what I mean? It was a thing that he absolutely, listen, we all grow and change.
Yeah.
He's an old man now. His biking days are behind him.
Yeah.
But damn, he does not have a new special interest yet. I haven't found it. And I don't know, like, I'm just
what
like,
does Dagger love? Scraps.
Scraps. Saige.
Me.
Park.
Coffee shops.
Coffee shops.
Mostly because he gets scraps and sometimes me.
And but all the coffee shops that used to give treats to dogs in the neighborhood, and I'm not giving up my OPSEC, this used to be the treats used to flow like water.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful
the
treat.
Rivers ran with treats for
God.
the dogs.
A dog could just reach up into a tree and pluck a treat. A treat. No more.
What?
There are very few coffee shops in the area now. They've cut back on the treats.
Times are getting real tough out there.
Times are getting tough.
That's how you know.
My little treat costs $10 now.
Yeah.
And they don't even have a little treat for him anymore.
It's messed up.
It's messed up.
That's messed up.
That's right, Infinite Corpse. Infinite Corpse in the live studio audience says it. This used to be a real country. A real goddamn country. We used to hate Mondays. And we used to
love dogs.
We used to not talk to us before we had our coffee. And we used to go on road trips with our estranged father, who was played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we used to unhinge our jaw like a snake and eat an entire pizza. What happened to this country? What happened to this country?
It ain't like it used to be.
It ain't like it used to be.
It's probably inflation.
Yeah, it might be inflation. Listen.
The talking point I've been hearing everything blamed on this time around.
Dude, look, it's not wrong.
No,
it's just oversimplified.
All of your problems aren't inflation. Inflation is a symptom of the problems.
Yeah, inflation, the reason, I mean, look, let me put on my serious costume again if we're going to talk about politics and money.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The inflation is coming from the fact that all of these companies keep raising their prices for line to go up because they're not based on anything real anymore. A company is not based on the value of its products or the value of the money that it makes. A company's value is now entirely based on adult gambling. It's entirely based on gambling for cubicle jockeys.
All gambling is supposed to be for adults only.
You never done a baby gambling? Have you never gone to a baby gambling?
The hat's back down for this?
For really? Have you not gone to a baby gambling?
Do you gamble, like, are you betting babies or are the babies betting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, it depends on what room you're in. Have you ever been to a casino?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. But you understand how they work.
Yeah.
There's one.
I've passed through many casinos, but I've never gambled at one.
Yeah. There's one room where the babies are playing like slots and like, you know, they've got like a wheel that's based on Bluey or whatever. And it's the jackpot keeps going up. And then there's a room where the serious babies have sunglasses on and they're eating cards because they don't know.
Yeah.
Because they don't know.
Yeah.
You'll have to ask them how one of them wins.
Yeah. I hope they slobber up to 21. You know?
Yeah. Then third room. Baby knife fights.
Oh. And we go and we bet on the babies?
Yeah. You tape them to their hands like 240s at a frat. And you send them in there. You go ahead, baby.
Yeah.
This is for college. You don't know what college is yet, but go.
And you may never after this.
Hey, that's baby survival of the baby fittest.
And this is the future that the left wants. Everybody remember to vote. Anthony, can I tell you something?
Tell me everything.
I'm scrolling on TikTok yesterday.
Okay.
And I get a ton right now. I'm sure you guys are getting these of those debate me political things, right? Now, most of mine are people on the left.
Yeah.
And I get one that's somebody on the right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hold on. I know that girl. I grew up with that girl. I knew her when I was a child. And her mother, to my face, said, Savannah can't hang out with you anymore because you're going to hell. And I didn't know why. And I think now it's because I was a Jew.
Yeah.
But I didn't know at the time because I was like, I'm a 14-year-old in Los Angeles that's not on heroin. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty impressive.
I might be the best company for your kid.
I might be the best behaved child in Los Angeles. What do you mean? Anyways, so yeah, it turns out probably because of the Jewish thing.
Yeah.
I didn't get it at the time. Hell isn't really our thing, quite simply.
We don't do that.
We don't really do that. So I was scrolling and I get this girl and she started a new account just to talk about politics, right?
Ooh.
And
politics is the new meta. Politics is the new meta. You gotta get on there. You gotta Hassan Piker it.
Now we haven't seen each other in more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Because she moved back to the South. Shocking. LA wasn't for her. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just had to. I just jump in. We're going to call her Sarah for this.
Okay.
Just to say, hey, Sarah, long time no see. Can you please explain to me your understanding of Kamala Harris's actual policy, please? Hey, bestie. And it's so weird. She was ignoring me. It's so weird. She tried really hard. And then everybody else started jumping in and repeating the same thing in her chat. Because she continued. And you know what else she said?
What?
Okay. This is going to be, hey, I'm going to give a little bit of a content warning for potentially triggering in that we're just like talking about some political issues right now.
Yeah.
And specifically
I'm
in the
put
fact
my politics hat on so y'all know.
And specifically in the fact that one of the candidates that could end up being your president if you're in America has been found guilty of essay. We're gonna simplify to that. Yeah. Anyways, so that's naturally what I had to ask about because she says she's voting for Trump, and I had to go,
sure. Hey,
bestie, long time no see. What I'm gonna open everyone with this. What are your feelings on essay? Like, are you cool with that?
Yeah,
because she was just talking about, unsurprisingly, her being pro-life. Unsurprisingly,
pro-life.
With no exceptions.
Listen.
With no exceptions,
hey,
this woman.
Listen, we all love life.
With no
exceptions.
She said no exceptions.
No exceptions.
And I keep asking about that because you know what she says? Somebody's like, no, you're just forcing people to have children.
Yeah.
And she says, no one forces anyone to have sex.
Oh, so she doesn't understand what SA actually is.
Well, that's when I decided to say,
she doesn't.
Hey, what's your policy on this then? Let's talk about it.
She doesn't believe.
She goes, oh, you know what I mean? Oh, I mean, obviously that is a horrible thing and that person should go to jail forever and ever. And I said, in that case, let's talk about your candidate. Let's talk about it. I think I'm blocked now.
Yeah, you're probably blocked.
I think I'm blocked now.
You're probably blocked.
Jail forever and ever?
Listen, here's the problem.
I agree. Let's do it.
Here's the problem with a single issue voter.
Everything.
A single issue voter, unfortunately, there are other issues and they all interact.
Yeah.
The problem is that there is no such thing as a single issue.
Yo, if I could be a single issue voter, which means if I win, there's only one issue, awesome. That would be great. My thing is get rid of all problems but one.
Yeah.
My thing is the opposite of Jay-Z's thing. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
Yeah.
I'd say get rid of my 99 problems. I'll take that bitch one.
I'll just take one problem.
I'll take one problem.
I'll take one
That's
problem.
That's a single issue voter. I vote for there to only be one problem. And if it's bitch, I'm in. That's fine. If bitches is my problem, bitches is my problem. And it got rid of all of the other human rights violations.
If I could just get everything off my plate.
But bitches?
Please. If that was my day.
Yeah.
I'd love to deal with that day. That's simply a day where I've just got one problem to deal with, one thing on my mind.
Where 99 problems are solved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take one down, pass them around. You know what I mean?
Please. I would love that. I would love that. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in.
No.
The world we live in, Saige, is a harsh one. And it may be the harshest out of everyone. It may be the hardest on Sony Pictures.
No.
And Sony Television. No. They might have it harder than anybody. First of all, everybody stop laughing at their movies. That's not cool. It's not cool. And the movies aren't funny. They're serious.
Please, we're serious.
Unless you think they're funny, in which case we will scramble to make a sequel that tries to make you think that we knew it was funny all along. Well, we have another problem for Sony. Sony and Amazon has been working on, of course, the God of War TV show.
I think Alex and I both just laughed at not Sorny.
Not Sorny.
In the live studio audience, Darren plays bad in all caps. Not Sorny.
Not Sorny, please.
I just heard Alex and I giggle at the same time.
Sorn1, think of Sorny. And we especially have to think of Sorny today because Sony and Amazon, who have been working on this God of War show for a few years now.
Yeah.
It was announced in 2022, which means they've been working on it since at least 2021.
Yeah.
Well, they're restarting from scratch. The showrunner and the writers have left. The showrunner, of course, was Rafe Judkins, who was the showrunner for the Wheel of Time for them, for Amazon.
Didn't crush.
Wheel of Time did not crush, but we don't know that was old Judkins' fault.
Yeah.
And then EPs Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus, who of course together have made Children of Men, Iron Man, The Expanse.
Mm-hmm.
These are people that know how to make things.
Sure.
They left the project because they were just like, you know what? Meh. The studio is apparently looking to move in a new creative direction.
What's Children of Men?
You've never seen Children of Men?
No, it gives, I love women. My mother is a woman.
Oh, no.
You
Children of Men is a very, I want to say it was 2006.
You can't call me a misandrist. My father is a man.
No, Children of Men is I think it was the first time we maybe saw Clive Owen, but it was a movie set in a near future where nobody was able to have children anymore. Like mankind just couldn't have children and the world was coming to an end. And it was like, it's extremely, extremely good. It's very depressing. It's very depressing, but it's very good. Great movie.
I'm not going to do it.
But no, it's not a misandrist movie. It's
I figured not.
Or a misogynist movie.
No,
it's not either
I figured
of those
it's
things.
not either of those things. It just made me giggle the title.
Yeah.
Like if you take the title.
Yeah, no, Children
of Men. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
To me, it sounds like Children of Men always like initially when it came out, I didn't see it because the title to me sounded like a Zack Snyder joint. You know what I mean? Like it sounded like a 300-y, like, oh, is this going to be about like warriors?
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm half man on my father's side.
Yeah. They just left. They left the show.
That's a bummer.
Kind of interesting, at the time when the show was announced, the Sony or Amazon Studios head of television in interviews said, don't expect the show to deviate far from the source material.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
That sounds good.
Who knows? Maybe the showrunners wanted to do that. Maybe Sony and Amazon decided to deviate from source material. Whatever it is, 4 years into this thing, the creative team took off and now they're starting from scratch.
Woof.
Can I tell you something?
You may.
I don't think God of War is a series.
I don't think it is either. I don't think we want God of War bad enough to start over.
I think it's a
tried.
movie.
I think you tried and you move on.
I think from go, it was a movie.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
And maybe you get a sequel or whatever, but like, I feel like because of the way the market is right now, it's impossible to make a movie. Like if you want to make a movie, it's like, well, it's going to have to cost $250 million and have like, the biggest, most Oscar winningest person in it. And like, we're going to have to pay $100 million for marketing and all this stuff. And like TV is like, oh, and in TV, we can tell more of the story and it doesn't have to be explosion-y or whatever.
Yeah.
But not everything is a TV show. And we're starting to think that everything is.
Yes. Okay. I might get torn up for this. What's good about God of War, in my opinion, is not the world. I think it is the mechanics of a really well-made game and the story and dialogue and character connections.
Yes.
I think those are the two things about God of War that are really good.
Yes.
I think they have very compelling
room
characters.
temperature take.
I think that they have a really great build. But what I'm saying is, I don't think the world is anything special. I think the world is kind of generic to that like Viking Nordic kind of fantasy look that we've seen in a million shows. And I think the reason to make something a series and not a movie is because you have a world to play in, right?
Yes.
You're expanding beyond this. And I just don't think that they really have that interesting of a world.
No, and not just that, like, even the cast, even though there's a quote unquote, like a pretty big cast of characters or whatever in God of War, there isn't. You know what I mean? There isn't.
No, it's very intentionally a very small.
Yeah, there isn't really. Like most of the characters and the things that you come across are things for Kratos to rip the skull off of.
Yeah.
And
then more lately, Child of Man.
Yeah, and like there's no, like, you need Mimir, right? You need Odin.
Yeah.
You need, you know what I mean? You need a couple of these bigger characters, but most of them, no, not really.
Yeah.
And so when you're talking about building out a series, who are your characters that I'm going to get when they do an episode where Kratos is barely in it?
Yeah.
Who's the character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's Atreus. Okay, but that's still Kratos and Atreus.
Yes.
So who are these other characters that I'm going to grow to care for that you can then tell entire stories about?
Yeah.
And if your answer is the Norse pantheon, my answer to you is it doesn't need to be a God of War show then.
Yes. And that we've seen it.
Yes.
And that we've seen it a million times. And I'm full. I'm quite simply, I'm stuffed.
Simply no more slices.
I'm full.
I've seen all of the pantheons of all of the gods done in 100 ways. And I don't necessarily need to see the Sony one. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The Sony God of War one.
Yeah.
And obviously Sony is trying to capitalize as much as they can on The Last of Us being a huge hit.
Yes.
Sony is really shifting to trying to put all of their IP into movies and TV.
Yeah.
But not everything. Like if they were talking about Horizon, I think you could do a series on Horizon.
Horizon's a much more unique world.
Much more unique world. You could introduce tons of new characters if you needed to. Not everybody has to be from the game.
Because that's what I'm saying, though, because you have that like basis to work within. I'm interested in the different people that are here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not interested in who else is in the God of War world.
And to your point of like the God of War thing feeling very generically Norse, like, the God of War levels are corridor to arena to corridor to arena.
Yeah.
And even though you go to like the nine realms or whatever.
Yeah.
Like not a lot of the design of those realms is what sticks out to me.
No, and those things aren't uniquely God of War. Again, you get just back to like, it's Pantheon stuff.
Yeah. Jotunheim is, you go to Jotunheim. Oh, it's Ice Mountain.
Yeah.
Great. Ice Mountain.
Yeah.
There are a couple levels where it's just like, this is cool visually for a video game. Yeah. But what are you building out to make a show? And I think that's probably like, if I had to guess what's going on behind the scenes, that's probably one of the problems they're having.
Yeah.
Whereas with The Last of Us, it's like, hey, there are characters you meet. There is a world here. The way they took the story of Bill in season 1 of The Last of Us and expanded on it, it's like every single person that you meet in the game had a life before. Like, it's The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You can go back and do an entire season about any of these characters.
Absolutely. It is a story of survivors. It is a story of hardship. And it is like, there's a million different types that would be happening right now in that world.
Yes. And so God of War, while it seems like an instant home run because everybody loves God of War and it's very cool, I'm not strapping in for a season of God of War.
No.
I'm a little, if I'm honest, I'm a little burnt out on all the prestige TV.
I am too.
I'm just a little burnt out on it.
Less prestige TV. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I actually think those big shows are a little overwhelming to me right now. And also they started to all kind of blend together. They all kind of look the same. They all kind of feel the same. I am watching right now From. Have you seen From?
No.
They're on the 3rd season. Have you seen this show?
laughing because I have been listening to the Besties podcast, and they took like half an episode with Justin McElroy talking about From and how absolutely wild it was.
It's insane. It's not.
It sounds crazy.
I don't even know if it's good, but I'm having a wonderful time.
That it's just like all over the place. It's people who are trapped in a town, right?
Yeah.
Like they go
it's got
somewhere,
Harold Perrineau?
It's like
and they can't leave.
Harold Perrineau is the lead?
He's fantastic.
He's one of the best actors of our
Genuinely
time.
incredible. Hey, there's a bunch of other actors on the show that are so bad. But the show is really good. Fascinating twists, weird fucking world. It feels very like Stephen King.
Okay.
It's weird as shit, and I'm having a fucking great time. I'm still on season 1 right now.
Here's
so no
why.
spoilers, everybody. I'm catching up.
Here's why. Wikipedia says, From is an American science fiction horror television series created by John Griffin. The first season premiered February 2022 on Epix.
That's what I'm saying. It's like from a nothing network because I'm over Prestige TV.
Epix, who we all think of as the Pennyworth Network.
Yeah. Sure.
Do you remember when they tried to make a whole show about Alfred Pennyworth on Epix?
I literally don't.
No one does.
Of course not. But that's what I'm saying is this is a great show. It's so not Prestige TV. Okay? It's contained in a little thing. They built a little city that everybody's trapped in.
Yeah.
It's got a fun mystery to it. I have no idea how they're going to do that for 3 seasons.
Is that that's the Dome or the Silo? It's one of those.
I don't know.
Okay. The Dome had another okay, so this one has Good Dad from Lost. The Dome
has a lot of people from Lost on the team too.
The Dome had Hank from Breaking Bad.
Yes. Okay.
And there was a dome that came down over a town.
Yeah.
And the town was separated. It was based on a Stephen King thing. And I remember it was so funny because the whole conceit of the dome is like the dome drops over this small town and immediately everyone goes bonkers. It's not even like, it takes time.
No.
It's not even like slowly over time, the people of the dome begin getting desperate as resources get. No, day 1 of the dome, everyone's like, fuck this dome. We gotta murder everyone.
Which does sound right, unfortunately, for people. We've seen what happens.
We gotta kill everyone.
So it's kind of a flip of that. It's these people have gotten used to how fucking weird this is already, and there's new people coming into it. It is a town that once you enter, you can never leave, and something happens at night that everybody has to like board up their houses, nail down their windows, and every night that happens. You do not go out after dark.
I simply would not unboard my windows during the day.
I agree.
I simply would not, I don't care how much I needed a little vitamin D, I would simply keep the boards up.
Right. And you can go out during the day. Everything is fine during the day.
Sure.
It is a basically normal town during the day until nighttime when it is so fucked up. It's absolutely fucked. It's insane.
This sounds like it's from too many of the people from Lost that had no idea what Lost was doing.
It is, but it's great.
For now.
And we got a lot of people in here. They're 3 seasons in. People love it.
Lost was 3 seasons in.
I know. But I'm saying I'm having a great time. I don't think it's like brilliant and amazing and good. I think the lead is brilliant.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the show is just so much fun. And it is that thing that is curing my like TV fatigue. I'm having such a hard time watching new things because everything feels like I'm taking on something so big.
No, I just need a TV show.
I just need a fucking TV show that just feels like a normal TV show.
The problem now is movies are TV shows and TV shows are movies.
It's too much.
I am now going to the movie theater and spending $20 to turn my brain off for like some popcorn garbage.
Yeah.
And then when I go home, I have to turn my brain on.
Yeah.
I have to of in the hot food and of out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to of in the cold food and of out the hot food.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Nope.
That Garfield meme. I don't want to do that. When I'm feeling brainless and I don't want to do anything, I'm at home.
Yeah. Just show.
I'm at home.
Quite simply need more people to just make a show. It doesn't have to be the show. Please just make a show. You know what I mean? I'm tired of everything having to be the show.
Has to be the show. Listen.
Just make me a show.
I want you all to know Harold Perrineau is the best Mercutio we've ever had and maybe the best Mercutio we ever will have.
And there we go.
I'm just putting that out there while we're talking about Harold Perrineau. because I feel like we have to.
Important. Great. I never watched Lost, you know? I never saw any of Lost.
Lost?
So, like, I have no feelings on this.
Can we go to my single, please? Lost is trash.
Whoa.
It always was. You got punked. You got fooled.
Yeah.
You got fished in.
C. Dandino says, wife is wholeheartedly agreeing with you. Thank you, wife.
Thank you.
If it's just wife, that's all of
Thank
our
you,
wife.
wife. Thank
Or
you.
named wife.
We're just calling her wife. What is this? Children of men?
My mother was a wife.
My mother was a children of men. Oh, he was that Mercutio. That's right. He was that Mercutio. He was Romeo plus Juliet. The collab. The capsule drop.
Limited edition.
The limited edition.
Okay.
Baz Luhrmann's William Shakespeare's.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio's Claire Danes.
Great. While
Romeo and Juliet.
I feel like we're not far off from this. I want to talk about something that may not matter to a lot of people, but like really fucking matters to me. I want to talk about the Hunger Games a little bit. Okay?
Okay.
Just for a second.
All right.
Don't do it.
I'm just gonna
Support me.
I'll be right here.
I've been supporting you in a Garfield hoodie this whole episode.
How could you not? Look at me. I'm adorable.
You back up a thing I like.
Hey,
Take an interest.
look at me. I'm adorable. Hey, look how adorable I am.
Thank you, Chafrikas. Somebody's got my back. Hunger Games prequel book that got
everybody
announced.
likes the Hunger Games but me. Remember when we had this discussion, I was like, do people still care about the Hunger Games when they released that new Hunger Games?
Yeah.
And everybody dogpiled on me, which is specious because I'm a cat.
All right. Listen, I feel like at the time you were a Hunger Games kid or you were a Twilight kid, as somebody who just watched all 5 Twilight movies within 1 week, I'm also now a Twilight kid. So I'm in.
You're a
I'm all in.
planeswalker.
I'm all in. Genuinely, the last Twilight movie fucking slaps. And I know I'm 30 years late for this or something.
No, it's very
But
good.
It's like really fucking good. Fuck that shit. I can't believe I missed out on that. I
It's
wish
very
I was in
good.
it. Anyways, what I was in was the Hunger Games. I was reading the books when they were dropping. I was watching the movies when they were dropping. I was comparing how I felt about the comparison of their live action adaptations.
You were waiting on that Mockingjay.
I was in. I was crying for the Mockingjay. Sunrise on the Reaping, the Hunger Games prequel book that got announced a couple of months ago. It got announced right around the time that Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes came out. Officially has a release date, and it's way sooner than I thought. March 18th, 2025. And they already said that they were working on the screenplay adaptation of it because the book has been done, which is really exciting because I think that book's gonna come out and that movie's gonna hit us within a year, I think. That's my guess.
Let me tell you something. Some people are a Georgie Railroad.
Yeah.
They take their time.
Yeah.
They don't worry about it. They get the big wave and they're like, oh, this is the big wave. I can't deal with it. Some people.
Suzanne Collins knows how to capitalize.
Suzanne Collins said, no.
Yes.
Listen, here's what we're going to do. The book is finished. Let's wait on the movie. We'll release the movie and the book within a couple months of each other. Everybody makes money. We laugh and we eat money.
I think they've figured out how to successfully adapt the Hunger Games. I think they've done a pretty good job of it.
I thought the Hunger Games
as
movies,
far as they go. I rewatched the Hunger Games movies not too long ago.
Listen, are they...
They're good. They're good.
Are they silly in a YA way? Yes.
Yeah, because they're
are
YA books.
Are they over the top in a YA way? Yes.
They're YA books.
They're YA books. Do I consistently think of Peter Millark bleeding out, painting himself into a tree? Yes.
Yeah.
That's
his one skill.
That's dumb as hell. Where did he get the... It's fine.
They do explain that. That is there.
I'm watching it and I'm like,
it's there.
He was bleeding out and he turned himself into a shrubbery and I love it.
Yes.
I have no notes.
Yes, he did.
I have no notes.
This book is really exciting because it is something that Hunger Games fans have been asking for since the beginning, this is about the second quarter quell. This is Hey Mitch's Games. Specifically, it's been a big deal because there were twice as many contestants. Yeah. That's why they call him that.
That's Woody Harrelson.
It's like Saul Goodman.
Yeah.
That's how he got his name.
Yeah.
They've been asking for this. That's Woody Harrelson's character in the movies, specifically the second quarter quell. Every time there's a quarter quell, which is every 25 years, they do something ridiculous to the game. So a lot of the ones that we've seen have been quarter quells because they're like, hey, here's when we make them the most fucked up. Yeah. And his was specifically that there was twice as many people in it.
It's like how on Sonic's 25th anniversary, he kissed Shadow.
Exactly.
Who do you want to play a young a young Woodward Harrelson.
I'm bad at fan casting.
Me
I just
too.
don't have a good like encyclopedia of actors in my brain. I'm not good at quick recall for actors.
My answer is always optimally, I hope they find somebody new.
Yeah.
My answer is always optimally, I hope they find somebody new
Yeah.
that is good. Because there are lots of new and good people out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Snake Zero said, does it really matter if it's more fucked up if they always go until everyone is dead? I mean, more people dying is worse.
Yes.
Objectively. But it's just also that it is like, this is the height of that thing. And usually if you're telling stories within a world, you're going to tell them the most heightened ones.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Well, that's cool. That's exciting.
I'm actually really excited about it. Specifically, they've said that this movie centers around misinformation and propaganda very heavily.
No.
Suzanne Collins is very much, I'm inspired by my political climate and I write a book. And specifically, this is all about like insidious misinformation and how the government controls information and can very effectively sway the people.
I love that. I mean, I would love to see if we see just like a bit of a rise of District 1 in that way. You know what I mean? Sort of like, oh, maybe at one point all the districts, I don't know the backstory. Maybe at one point all the districts were a little more on even footing. And then like one was just like the sneaky conniving district that wanted all this stuff. And it's got to be District 1, right?
Well, so what we saw, you didn't see A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, right?
No.
So A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is before this. So it is about essentially the forming of the Hunger Games. It's not the forming of the Hunger Games itself, but it's the forming of the Hunger Games as we know it.
Okay.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's when it became like celebrity and TV and like a game.
What about District 9? Put a prawn in there. Put a prawn in there with a laser blaster. We'll see who survives.
I'm in. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to tell you all because I'm really excited about it. It's personal big Saige news.
In big Anthony news,
Yeah.
but also I think big classic games news, we'll close out with this one. Analogue.
Yeah.
Makers of fine classic consoles just put out their announcement for the pre-order for the Analogue 64.
Let's take a look at the Analogue 64. I'm curious to see what everybody thinks of this. Obviously, Analogue, we've talked a lot about the Analogue Pocket. I think that's what most people would know.
I have the Analogue Pocket. That was like their big breakout. But they've made previous consoles. They made an Analogue NT. They made an Analogue SG, which were Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo. And the difference between these and some of the other gadgets and like handheld emulators is instead of being an emulator, being a little computer that runs an emulator, it's an FPGA chip, which basically is hardware simulation.
Yeah.
Basically, the idea is all of the electronics of these old consoles are so simple that you can put them on a single chip now. And so they have one reprogrammable chip in there that is programmed to do all the hardware of an original console. So you supposedly get the most accurate gameplay to an original console.
Which is very cool.
One of the things that's been very neat about the Analogue consoles is they have HDMI out, but HDMI out with a nice scaler and CRT effects and no lag. A lot of times you put these older consoles or you put an emulation device into a new TV and they got a lot of lag. They don't feel right.
Yeah.
Analogue is all about that good feeling. And of course, the big deal is they have cartridge slots so you play your original games on it.
I do love that. For me, we were talking about this a little bit before the show. The smoothed out design of it. I love that it comes in white. I know you love a white console.
Yeah, pop that back up.
This is great. The smoothed out design of it is a miss for me personally, but I don't think it's wrong.
It doesn't have the little feetsies, the little round feetsies.
I miss its lumpy feetsies. I love the look of the N64. It is one of my favorite looking consoles. It's my favorite console to display. Although it's not my favorite console of all time or like the game library that I love the most.
Yeah.
To me, the N64 is like peak nostalgic game console, but it's also, it's also exactly my age demographic, right?
Yeah.
Like I was born in 1995, you know?
It's like, some people feel that way about, I think it's whatever console, was hanging around when you were like, 6 to 10 years old, whatever.
Where you were like, this is what a game console looks like to me.
Yeah.
Like this is like, whoa.
That's your idea of a video game. What's interesting about this, other than, and some people are saying, hey, just make your Steam Deck into an emulator. Yes. Do that if that's what you're happy with. This is for people that want to play their old cartridges on basically original hardware.
Yes.
With some modern conveniences.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is the scaler. Like I have original hardware. I collect a lot of original hardware and like rehab it and repair it. And this is why the analog stuff is good. Just an upscaler that does lagless, clean upscaling from an old console to a new TV can cost you $200.
Yeah.
The nicest one on the market right now costs $800.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, but what do you get $800? I'm going to go to fucking Japan if I have $800.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want the original experience? I'll play it at Nintendo headquarters.
Yeah.
But the Analogue 64 is $249.
It's not a bad price.
$249. Has four original controller ports, but also has an 8-bit controller that was specifically designed for it. And you can use any Bluetooth controller you want with it. And they all come with a little SD card slot. And that's the big deal because they never guarantee this. They never say it's going to happen. Do not buy a product based on this.
Yep.
But every analog product has been jailbroken to run FPGA cores for other consoles. So my Analog Pocket plays Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color cartridges, but it can also play ROMs from other systems.
Yeah.
And it plays them perfectly recreated.
Yeah.
So if this gets hacked, which it could, I wouldn't buy it until it does.
Yeah.
But if a jailbreak comes out, just an FPGA recreation of an N64 is huge.
Yeah.
Most FPGAs, like N64 is like cutting edge for FPGAs. Because remember, it's not an emulator.
Yeah.
It's recreating all of the hardware. So this will do everything from N64 backwards.
And that's very cool.
Perfectly.
And 250 is not bad to do all of that.
All of that perfectly, not like an emulator, running beautifully.
Not like other emulators.
It's not like other emulators. So this is a cool thing. For me, I have an FPGA thing.
So it's not a need for you.
It's not a need for me. I have something called a Mister. You can look that up. It's like a custom built one. But for $249, if and when this thing gets jailbroken, that's only $50 more than an upscaler to hook an old console up to a TV.
I genuinely do feel tempted by this one. I still have a few original cartridges and it's mostly for that. I want the feeling of putting the cartridge in and playing the cartridge.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody who's like super precious about how my games look for old games because that's just not what I'm there for, right? Like I'm okay with it looking shitty, if that makes sense. Like I am. I'm okay because I'm playing for nostalgia. Like that's it. And I'm jumping in and I'm getting the nostalgia and that's all that matters as long as it's like functional. And I have my original N64. So like, it's not going to look the same on my TV with an N64. Like I know the difference it's going to be. So this is still genuinely tempting to me if it jailbreaks at $250.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's less about, I mean, the look is important to me, but they all look shitty. That's the point. It's part of it. I want it to kind of look shitty and it's weird because I want it to look shitty in the way that's real.
Absolutely. You want it to look shitty in the right way.
Yeah. But the biggest thing for me is the lag because until you try it, like I have so many people that are like, I don't know, man, I used to play this game as a kid and now I play it and it's so hard. I don't know how we did it. I'm like, no, it's the lag.
Yeah.
And when I show people how to like hook things up properly to their TV, or when I show people how to turn on something like Run Ahead in their emulators, and they're playing it again, they're like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was like hitting right and it like.
Yeah. For sure.
So this is a big deal.
I think this is pretty neat. I'm into it. I dislike that they're not encouraging you. They didn't make a new N64 controller. I want it to be shaped the same, but with better buttons. I know you hate the N64 controller design.
No, I don't.
You said that you don't like it.
No, I'm one of the people that thinks it's a clever design.
You like that? I thought you didn't like the N64
most people hate it, but I don't think it's great.
I think it's insane. I love it.
But I think the hate for it is wrong because people are like, what do you need 3 hands to play it? And I'm like, no, it's set up for 3 different play positions.
One at a time.
It's a flexible controller design.
Imagine looking at your keyboard and being like, what do I have to have a finger for every key?
Yeah.
What do I need? Do I need a finger for every button on here?
That's so weird. It's bad because the analog stick was bad. Analog sticks went bad.
Yes.
If you played a new N64,
Yeah.
I always tell people, there's no way to emulate Mario 64 that feels like Mario 64 with a new good Nintendo 64
And that's
controller.
why I'm saying I wish they had given us an N64 controller.
Now, they did show it
I know you can plug
working.
in your originals. You can plug them in.
Well, now that they're showing, that is the Nintendo Switch Online
Yeah.
N64 controller, which a lot of people really love.
Okay,
And a lot of people say
Mhm.
feels really good.
Show it.
And there are mods that you can get to put a steel stick in there and like do.
Yeah.
And people say it feels pretty close to the original.
Mhm.
It will work with those N64 Nintendo Switch Online controllers.
That's good.
So I think that's pretty good.
The controller that they're giving us looks like the very classic like Switch Pro controller. It looks kind of like an Xbox controller.
Yeah, it looks
but with the additional RA buttons.
You remember when I got us a couple of the Brawler controllers that are like classic controllers that are remade by this company?
Yeah, I think I have it here actually.
And it's just kind of like, it's faithful to the old one in ways, but it has like a more modern, streamlined design. I think it looks like a good controller. I don't think, like, if it doesn't come with one, I think it comes with one of them. I wouldn't buy extras of it if I have extra Bluetooth controllers lying around.
Agreed.
It's just it's an 8-bit DOE controller. If you have one, you have any of them
For sure.
but it looks, I don't know, for $249. I think for a lot of people, this is going to be a really good sweet spot to get into FPGA and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
I think so too. I think it's neat. And I think that's all the show that we have time for. Thank you, everybody, for spending your morning with us and hanging out. I hope you're enjoying the new look of the show. This is so much more comfortable.
I am just so cozy.
I'm thriving in this. Do compliment us in the comments. I want to shout out some YouTube comments from last time because I gotta say, this might be the best video we've ever posted, I guess, because all the comments are like so good on it.
There was a lot of you came out in support of Saige, the brave little hero.
Thank you. I did have to kill a fly. And it was really scary. I was very brave about it. Even just being in the room with said fly. So I'm going to give a shout out to Overthinking Cheeseburger, who said Saige Ryan isn't just a big, strong hero, but she's our big, strong hero.
There you go.
There's a lot of these here. Kev also with Saige has always been the big, strong hero. Thank you very much. Shout out to you all.
It's good.
So do that. Leave a comment on the video. We would appreciate it very much. It helps us out a lot. We, of course, just launched this YouTube channel somewhat recently still as the second split off channel from our previous one. So we're still building it up and it helps us out a lot when you like the video, when you leave a comment, when you subscribe and turn on notifications, come back and watch the videos. Share it with a friend, maybe.
Oh, we love it if you share it with a friend.
Share it on a social media.
Oh, a social media?
I don't know. You can do that for free. And it's very neat when you do.
It's very cool. And also,
Flylander always does. Shout out.
If you think we're very cool and the people who watch the show are very cool, you could head to the Discord and talk to these cool people all the time.
It's free. If you're watching on Twitch, it's always popping up in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, it is always linked in the description to join. You can suggest stories for things you want to see us talk about, or you can just chat with the BBs.
Yeah. Also, a great place if you'd like to support us would be our Patreon.
It's Friday today, which means you get a new video on Patreon. People on Patreon got to see the set before today's show. You get little sneak previews of things. You got some behind the scenes of me building the table. And today you'll get a whole extra story.
Today we're going to show her chopping down the tree that made the wood, that made the table, that swallowed the fly. Hey, we were going to thank everybody who supported us during the show. But first, Saige, where can people find you when you're not here?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. And you can find me on both of the Pixel Circus channels. And very soon, I'm just going to say it, Twilight D&D is coming.
Whoa!
That's why I just watched literally all of the Twilight movies. I bought a Twilight compendium book that Stephanie Meyer wrote of all of the lore of the universe. I have been spending so much time on it. We're doing Twilight D&D.
I cannot wait to see
very soon.
I cannot wait to see your baseball mechanics. I know that there have to be baseball mechanics. And
how about you, Anthony?
You can find me everywhere at A Carboni, except for here on Twitch where I'm at Anthony Carboni. Twitch, you cowards, it's mine. Give it back to me. Today, this afternoon, we're going to be playing Zenless Zone Zero. Jumping into Zenless Zone Zero is Genshin for people who are Dreamcast fans.
Woo! That's exactly. Wow. That's really specific to Anthony.
It's very specific to Anthony.
I don't know if there's that many of those people.
If you like Jet Set Radio and anime and Genshin, come on to twitch.tv/Anthony Carboni this afternoon.
Perfect.
Also, there's a new episode of the official Marvel podcast. I interview Ricky Purdon, who is the head of talent at Marvel. He tells everybody how to get into comics.
Woo.
And there's a new episode of We Have Concerns up this week that is all about leaving milk outside for days.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. How about Alex?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter for as long as I'm there at Alder_Mancy, also on Blue Sky at Aldermancy, and on Instagram at Alex Teplitz.
Thank you, everybody, so much for being here, for spending your time with us. And we'll see you next on the Patreon. And there's no show on Monday, so next week.
I'm naked under this garb.
Oh, my God.